Welcome to Beyond Belief podcast. Get ready for some engaging conversation and captivating stories. Whether you are here to learn something new, have fun, or just chill out, let's get started. Get ready for some adventure. I'm Sabine, your host, and today I have an interesting guest, Khadija Franklin. Welcome, Khadija.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
My pleasure. Before we dive into today's discussion, I'm excited to announce for the second consecutive year our light language attunement class. You can find the detail on my website into the upcoming events section and down below this video. Now, let's embark on another episode of Beyond Belief. Khadija is deeply passionate about guiding survivors of sexual abuse on their path to healing alongside with empowering individuals dealing with stress, anxiety, and depression. And as a trained healer and transformational coach, she offers powerful tools for self-liberation and empowerment, helping individuals navigate their struggle, find healing and peace with themselves. Khadija, can you share with the audience here what motivated you to help women who survive sexual abuse? Because I'm interested in the word survived.
Yes, no, absolutely. It has been a long journey for me coming into this area of work. And it's something I've worked with a lot of women just doing healing, normal healing, and this subject will come up. But what I found, they do not want to go there. They don't want to touch this subject. It's almost, you can heal me, but I don't want to face this particular trauma, and I don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed and ashamed for anyone to discover they've been hurt in that sense. So I was puzzled by that. And I know from my own experience as a survivor how difficult it can be. It took me years to even to be able to talk about my own trauma and what I went through. But
Thank you for
So it's not an easy subject. And me working with my guides, they've been guiding me for a while now to really start digging deeper, to start working with survivors. And at the beginning, I'm like, well, I am working with women, so it's fine. And they said, no, I'm avoiding the subject. I'm not being clear in my message and the type of female I should be working with. So, like I resisted for a while. And then I'm like, it's a big subject. I'm not sure whether I'm qualified to take on this, So then I'm like, okay, I finally agreed. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And to be honest with you, I was frightened. I was scared because I wasn't sure if I will be able to help or deliver. And it's interesting. They were saying, listen, you've gone through your own journey. You know how it is, the steps you've taken to heal and how you've maneuvered the energies and also standing in that power of yours and not being judged, not being worried, and just be vulnerable and open to it. So, and now I can talk about my own experience without being affected because, I have to go through my own journey of healing and forgiveness. So I'm like, well, I feel like I'm in the position now to help my goddess sisters, to guide them. I'm just facilitating. They are the ones who heal in themselves. I'm just helping them and showing them the way how they can heal themselves and move forward and stop being in bondage. Because I feel like when we are survivors, we are chained up, even though we don't realize it. And it takes a while to break those chains and be in your own self, your own divine power, so you can live your life to the fullest without having all this pain being hidden away. And because it's a shameful subject. And I've worked with few women now, and most of them have the same trend in a sense. Oh, people don't believe us. Oh, we've been like abused. And then we've been also, the family don't want anyone to know because it's like you bring in shame in the family, you're lying, especially if the abuser is in the family. It can be very tricky, and it's like, let's sweep it under the rug and let's just ignore it. Don't cause any problems. And also, I found sometimes the parent kind of want to hid this, especially depending on the circumstances for everyone. If the parent, the one I find really heartbreaking is that when the mother knows the father is abusing the child, and because they're dependent on the father, they're also be abused and they've never healed it. They rather just turn a blind eye. Or like, you know what, let's not talk about it. It's fine. Or this never happened. You're just making it up. And as a child, that's your parent. You're supposed to look up to them. So when they tell you something, you believe them. And this can traumatize the victim. And then, excuse me, if you are molested, you grow up and then you've gone through all these emotions and you haven't had the chance to explore, to heal, to understand, and you keep numbing your pain for so long or start medicating, and then it's turned into lashing out in another areas of your life without you even realizing why you're triggered, why you're behaving in this way. So it takes time to understand, and also having somebody to encourage you, like, it's okay, it's not your fault. Don't be ashamed. I used to be ashamed because I should have told somebody. I should have screamed louder. You know, I should have done this, but we are children. There's nothing you can do. And if you're an adult, you are put in a position where you are vulnerable, and abuse doesn't mean it's your fault, but we do blame ourselves. And I think that's one of the reasons we feel crippled. And then we end up then going through this, our light is diminished, we are in pain, we are hiding, people are walking all over us because we are still vulnerable. And you know, we are energy beings. How we see ourselves is how others will treat us.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's such a big subject.
Yes.
Khadija, I would like that you emphasize a little bit on that subject where, and I know for my audience, for some of you, it will be difficult to hear, but I want you to make an effort and hear until the end. I feel already the energy when I say that, but I have also many clients who have been abused, and I hear also many stories like you do. I would like you, and this is why I said a little warning to my audience and say, listen, please, it's important. Can you emphasize on the subject when the abuser is a family member? Either is the father and the mother knows, or either is the uncle and nobody knows, and the girl is growing up. I'm giving real life example that I had through my client. The girl is growing up, become a woman, and still obliged to attend weddings and family events, and the uncle is there, and the uncle is pretending that never anything happened. When she tries to confront him, and yeah, for those women, for healing their own pain, or if we can't heal their own pain now through this podcast, if you can give them guidance, explain deep when it's a family member who abused the little girl or the little boy, because I had cases.
Yes, it is a very interesting dynamics, and because depending on where you are in your life, whether if you are survivors, because sometimes you're not believed by the family, or the family don't want anything to do with you because they think you're causing problems and you're trying to break the family dynamics. So that can be another reason. And then another one could be you're too embarrassed to tell anyone. So you rather keep the pain to yourself. And if you do come out, people are accusing you of lying. And then it's like tug of war. This person is on this side, this person is on this side. So it can be very complex. So depending on each individual's circumstances. I've worked with few, let's say, I will just pick one individual person I've worked with where this is the father that did the abuse.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
so since she was a young girl, this been happening, and the family, and she was with her stepmother. So her stepmother knew, but instead of protecting her, her stepmother was spreading the rumor among the other women and laughing like it's a joke. It's her fault that her father is abusing her in this way. So it was, and so she was seen as the bad person, as the person almost like a hooker, where she's a child. So that was a whole different dynamics. And then nobody believed her. Everyone thought she was lying. She was making it up because this is a respected man. How can a respected man with that kind of value and that status cannot do such a thing? And also certain backgrounds, if you come from either African background or other background, the child is always lying. The parents always tell the truth. So that's another factor, advantage they have over you. And this person, they end up going into having miscarriages, going through that trauma by themselves, and they're still a young lady and being basically hated by everyone because she was a strong-willed woman, and she's like, no, I need justice. And they all say, no, you have to keep it together, hush, hush, hush. And anyway, to cut story short, she ended up later on taking the father to court, and then he was charged. But what they found out was he was doing this to other people, so she's not the only one. But he got away with it. Even to this day, they're still like, oh, we are sorry, we didn't just want to get involved, or so they keep giving these excuses. So how does she then protect herself? Because she will never have the answers she seek from her father, and why everybody look the other way and not protect her and help her. And this is one of the reasons where survivors want to have an answer. Why did you do this to me? Why didn't anyone protect me or say something on my behalf? And this can also be a detrimental pain for the survivor. And for me, coming as a healer, I was sexually molested by my stepbrother for 2 years. And my father didn't know. My mother wasn't there, but I have a feeling his mother and other people, no one said anything. And I couldn't say anything because if my father found out, I would be dead. That's how terrified I was of him. Yeah. I have to keep it to myself. So I never told anyone. So for me, working with these people, what I've realized, you cannot get the answers you need from them. So what you have to do is to stop the blame. Let's connect with you. Let's connect with that wounded inner child. And let's also find out, why did this happen to you? And because I'm working more in the holistic way, not the conventional way, so I am involving your guides. And we'll also go into whether this is like karmic energies intact to it, is something your soul has arranged to experience, to balance karma, or because your soul wants to go through that experience for it to evolve. So it's so much in depth, or it just happened, you didn't sign up for it. And once we understand, that is one way to help the individual. For me, it's all about helping the individual to connect the dots and understand that this happened to you, but we can find a way for you to get the answers you need so you can heal. And then we go through the healing process. We will do past life regression. We will connect with your inner child. We will connect with higher self. We will also go through soul contract with the family dynamics. So it's very in-depth. And then bring in, who are these souls that has abused you? Why did they abuse you? Was this a soul contract? Was this, because abusers are there, but you also need to understand why. And we go through the soul way, where you understand why, who are these individuals in your other past lives? Who are these guys? And did you hurt them? Were they just, you have to understand all that. And then we go through unpacking everything. And once you understand why it happened to you, it gives you the foundation, like, oh, okay, let's move forward. And your soul is never hurt. It's just we as in a body experiencing the pain. And then we have to, okay, let's start the healing now. And forgiveness is one of them. First, helping you understand it's not your fault. And also, we're not blaming the perpetrator, even though they've done this to us, because that doesn't solve anything. And holding the hurt inside just add more pain to us. So it's learning. So I work with them with a different kind of method where I show them how to release that energy. First, forgive themselves. And so we will do like different techniques, and also writing letters to that individual, like pretend they're talking to them, that person is in their face. Because you can't do it any other way. So you have to envision them, write a letter to them, say everything you want to say without holding back, and burn it. and keep doing this process for a while to end up to release everything you wanted to say to that individual. You can say it without talking to them. And then we go through the healing, connecting with yourself and clearing all the blockage, because, you know, it's so much trauma, so much blockage. And then we have to also clear all the energetic blockage. We also have to call back all your fragment lost souls that's been hiding in limbo, because every time we experience a severe trauma, our soul, bits of our soul goes into limbo. So we have to go back and reunited with these bits of us in order to be whole. So it's very in-depth healing. And so every week we will be doing assignment, and also we will connect with your body, because you've been rejecting your body. You're not honoring your temple. You're not honoring your body because of everything. So we're now going to bring you back to alignment where you respect your body. We release that energy, we release that pain and anger, and then connect you with your temple so you don't get triggered. You can still enjoy sex. You can still have a wonderful relationship in your own terms, and removing the triggers, because we get triggered a lot as well as survivors. So that's another thing we have to heal and help you understand. I hope that answers some of it.
That was very well detailed and clear. You were speaking about the trigger, and yeah, more triggers we have also is showing that we are not healed yet.
Healed, yeah.
When you don't have triggers or situations are coming to you and you're like, oh, okay, fine. It doesn't affect you anymore. Like you mentioned earlier in your conversation, that's the moment you can say you are healed. You know, I would like that you also speak about sexual relationship after an abuse, because in my case, I had different type of abuse, not me. I've been abused too. This is why I know well the subject. And in general, like you mentioned, when you pass through, you know very well. And you are able, for some of you, you will say unfortunately, others you will say fortunately. It depends at which stage you are in your own healing.
Yes.
But I want to say, as horrible as it is to be abused, sexually, physically, mentally also, sometimes it's violent too, I would say everything happened for a reason, but I can say that when you are healed, okay,
Yes.
when you are still in the victim mode, you will not be able to comprehend that this is happening for a reason. And where I want to go by saying this is often when you pass through, I don't say that you have to pass through. We could avoid if we didn't have some karmic relationship, blah. We will talk about this later on. And soon, I hope, because we go through ascension, we will not have any karmic debt or negative contract. And mainly some happens also because of that. But I've noticed when you pass through, you are able to help in a better way, because you can sense the person who has been abused to. The person doesn't need even to explain in detail, which is painful to explain, especially the first time when you need to empty your bag. You have a person, Khadija, in front of you. You don't need to speak a lot, because she can understand. Like I said, when you pass through that, you sense in a different way. It's like you recognize the people who are, unfortunately, let's say this way, for the one who are still in a victim mode, like you. Now, let's speak about sexual relationship after an abuse. I had different cases with women and men too. But mainly women. Some were becoming frigid, complete, and couldn't have sex in a normal way. It took a long time, of course, after they do healing, but I mean, before starting the full healing in the holistic way. Some were going that path. Some others went into sadomasochism. And I had one of my clients, and this is a crazy story. She has been abused by 5 workers between the age of 6 to 9 years old every day. They were building of the house, doing transformation. Long story short, that man arrived to me. She was about 45 years old, and she came because the husband was complaining. She was loving sex in a very bad way. The pain she had, better it was. And it was mainly because she was not healed. And I want to say, if you can go deeper in this, I want to say, don't be ashamed.
Yes.
Because when you have been abused sexually, you can develop weird sexual relationship. My case, as a personal situation, because I have no shame to say today, and I said it already publicly,
Yes.
I had vaginismus for years. But the fact is, I deleted that. It was a rape, clearly.
Yes.
I delete that from my mind. Then, no, it didn't happen to me. I'm fine. But
Yeah.
my body remembered.
The body have a lot of
Why, yeah. This is
and
why I had vaginismus for years. I know women who have also vaginismus, but probably they're in the same stage. They had an abuse, delete. It's like volunteer amnesia. Children are very strong for that.
yeah.
Can you develop, please?
Yeah. It's a wonderful topic you brought up because, we all, like you said, have a different way of approaching this kind of trauma because it's the way to cope, I suppose. And you do have some client where they find sex, it's different. Some find sex to be not comfortable. They do it because they have to do it. And some feel like they've been raped again and again and again, which is really heartbreaking because they're not enjoying it. They're just doing it because they have to do it. And so they relive in the same pain. They never enjoy or stop to be comfortable because we all know if you're not comfortable and relaxed, you're not going to enjoy anything, let alone sex.
No.
So you have those. And then, like you said, you have the ones that then uses this tool as power because that's the only way they know how. So I'm just going to use my sexuality as a power now to do whatever, but they're not honoring themselves. It's going in a different opposite direction where they think, oh, now I'm having power, but it's not. It's just that child crying for help, save me. But they don't know how. And that can be very challenging. And then you have the ones that would think also, oh, maybe if I have sex with people, then they would love me. The more sex I have, the more I will feel loved because you never felt loved and protected. And you think, well, if I give myself freely, then surely that person will love me and appreciate me because we're crying for love, we're crying for attention, we're crying for reassurance. The list goes on. And then how do we fix this? Well, one thing, let me focus on relationship. If you are with your partner, because I know I've worked with people who are terrified to let their partner know they've been abused. And it's really sad. But if you know this is the person you're married, this is the person you want to spend your life with, it's fundamental to tell that person what had happened to you. Because by opening up with that person, then they will know they will tread more nicely. They will know how to exactly work with you without triggering you. Because we always think, oh, you should know what's happening in my life. But people can't read your mind, unfortunately. You have to tell them, hey, this is what works for me. This is what doesn't work for me. And this triggers me. So I'd rather this not. And that person, they will work with you so that you'll feel comfortable in your own body and be comfortable also being comfortable being with your partner. So you can enjoy sex in a healthy way. Maybe you need a counselor to help with this, or maybe just talking together and just explaining the situation will help you. But you do need to be honest and tell them, because if you don't, you get triggers, you lash out at them and they don't know what they're doing. But you think it's justified because you're still hurting. So that's one way. Open conversation in the relationship is must. So they have to understand. And I know it's scary. We don't want anyone to know. We feel guilty. We feel we'll be judged. And some people think the husband might leave them if they find out this had happened to them. So that's another fear as well. Or thinking, or he will look down on me. He will not respect me the same anymore. But this is just what we program ourselves to believe. It's not the truth. And if that person believed that, then you know you're in the wrong relationship. That person doesn't deserve you in the first place. Because the person who deserves you will never think that. They will be there and help you and work with you and help you heal so you can stand in your own power. And then I think it's a matter of, I believe that everyone that's gone through this, we need to get somebody to help us. I know sometimes it's scary to reach out for help. You rather just watch from the background instead of stepping forward and say, hey, I need help. And sometimes it's human nature. We wait until it becomes so worse before we ask for help. The angels are always saying, you guys, you're too, you love pain so much. It's crazy. You're supposed to like ask for help when you need it. You don't wait until it's like you're in a mess before you ask for help. But we do it because we are so afraid. We wait until nothing works anymore in our life, and then we ask for help.
Yeah.
And I don't know what
why the podcast is done. People who are not ready yet, show up and ask. You have now everything on the table.
And all I can say, do things when you're not ready. Do it with the fear in your face, in your eyes. You cannot be ready to seek help. Just do it. And one thing, I work with the soul. I work with more connecting inwards. I believe that medication helps to a certain degree, but you do relapse because you cannot medicate the soul. I'm sorry. And also you hiding away from your feelings. You're running away. You're not really connecting with who you are. But we do need to open that Pandora box, face in, go through, unpack everything, and heal step by step, and forgive all those people who have accepted this, to allow this to happen to you. They didn't take a stand. They didn't protect you. We have to forgive everyone. We're not giving them and condoning what they've done. We're just releasing ourselves. We no longer need to be stuck in this energy because of these people's actions. We need to free ourselves from these energies, from these people, and stand in our power and carry on living our life and be happy. Setting an example also for the people in your life that, hey, this can happen to me, but guess what? I can move from this and be a wonderful human being, enjoy my life and be powerful. And that will help other people also to go, hey, you did it, I can do it too. So you also shining that touchlight for the people in your life to follow suit. And one thing I also have to say, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Everything you've signed up for, when you have bad craziness happened in your life, you have to remember it's because your journey, your assignment is bigger. You have to remember that. That's why you've gone through all the challenges. If your assignment is small, you will have no trauma, you will have no experiences. Everything will be just perfect. But the bigger the problem, the bigger the reward, the bigger person you're supposed to also impact other people's lives. You have to think about it that way. Because we never see that. We just think I'm a victim. I'm this. Yes, this happened to us, but we can choose to be a victim or we can choose to liberate ourselves. It's our choice. For me, I do this work because I know how hard it is. And I used to not talk about this subject. Every time I talk about it, I would cry. I remember when I started writing, I want to write about my life. This subject, and the reason I'm sharing this, so I know how difficult it is. I will be sobbing nonstop. I'm like, wait a minute, everything is a mess. How can I finish writing this difficult part? And I remember my guide said, listen, just cry it out. Cry and let it flow. Just release that pain. And then I have to do it. I'll sit there sobbing. Don't wear mascara when you're doing this, okay?
Better.
I'm not joking. Because by the time I finish, my face is like, I don't know what is happening to my face. But it's a release to cry. And honestly, we need to, when people say we have to run away from our pain. And when I started doing this, I talked to a few of my friends. Oh, we Africans, we just keep it on that side. We don't talk about it. Once you forget about it, you are healed. And I'm like, this horrifies me to hear this. Because you are never healed. You just put in your pain in a Pandora box until it explodes in your face. And then everything is like a volcano. So no, it's always there. And you owe it to yourself to ask for help and heal your life. It's your life. You can't let other people keep diminishing your light. That's why you're here. It's to go through the hard lessons, heal and empower yourself and empower others and help others. I don't know if that answers that questions.
Resonate a lot with me, and it's answering the question perfectly well. You was also saying at some point that many women don't dare to say to their boyfriend that they have been abused, molested,
Yes.
even worse sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes they are the subject of a real sex party.
Yes.
That's crazy. Then how you can say that to your boyfriend? Of course, it's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
And I want to say, don't rush. you are not ready to say it, okay, wait, continue your healing. Take care of yourself first. And like you mentioned, if the person doesn't react in the right way the day you decide to say it, that's not the person for you. That's it. But, you know, in this, many women don't say it for one specific reason: judgment. Because they know somehow they will be judged, because they have been judged before. If they spoke about, then they take a slap, and they don't want to take another slap.
They don't want to. Absolutely.
Too much. Yeah.
It's real fear. It's a real fear.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's paralysis. Totally. You are completely frozen. You know, myself, I never said to anyone. This happened, I was young, between 12, 13 years old. Okay.
That's the same age as mine. I was between 10 and 12.
Come. Why I said what you mentioned is resonating a lot with me. In my personal situation, because I started my healing very late in life for everything, and I never said to any my boyfriend.
Yeah, I did too. I started late.
Yeah, and one person I said very late in life, and I saw the face of that person. And I was like, yeah, now I know why I never said.
Why you never said. And you know, to say that, sorry to cut you off, my own experience, I never told my partner, my son's father, that I was with for years. I never told them. And I never told anyone. And I told my elder brother, he was mad. It's like, I know this guy is here. This happened to you. I can beat him up. I can make them mess him up. I'm like, no, I'm beyond that. I don't need that. I'm over that. And I told my younger sister, she was, honestly, her reaction was like, she didn't believe me. Can you imagine? It's almost like, no, you're making that up. That did not happen. And I was shocked and puzzled by her reaction towards me, you know. But that's the reality that lots of people face every day. You tell your loved ones, they don't believe you. They think there's something wrong with you, just trying to cause problems. So I totally understand it, but I do believe that in order to heal, we have to be vulnerable. And that's the next step, being vulnerable, facing your fears, and not worry. Don't stop worrying about what other people think of you. That's one thing we have to first focus on. This is not about what other people think of you, what they're going to say about you. None of that. People will never stop talking about you. Even when you die, they'll talk about you. So forget it. It's what you think about yourself is what's important, how you see yourself. You know your truth. So you need to honor your feelings and honor yourself, and then everything else will come together. So,
you know, when you say to family members or anyone, you say your story, like you mentioned with your sister, she is the perfect example, the way how she reacted, of people who are triggered themselves. Because you serve as a mirror, and they don't like that. They don't want to hear, they don't want to see, they don't want to feel. Then they start to become very defensive. And for the audience here, this is very important to know, because when you are ready to speak and the person is rejecting you, you need to know
gone through the same
thing. Triggered the person.
They have gone through the same thing, but they rather take it to the grave.
Yeah. Or simple as if they believe in something very specific that, no, you trigger them too much. They closed. They put them in a box.
They can't take it. And it's interesting because I knew, funny enough, I remember the first time I did my first video, I'm like, I know this is going to be interesting, but then I'm like, this is not about what people think. I'm doing how I feel. I know I'm here to help. So let me focus on the message and forget about anyone can receive it, how they feel they can receive it, you know, because it's what it is. And I have to say, I've been grateful for my followers. They've been so accommodating. Everyone is like really wonderful. And I remember my guide is like, well, go talk about your story. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to ask them to talk about theirs, I definitely have to put myself there. And I talked about it smiling. I'm like, I must think, what's wrong with that? But because I don't see myself as a victim, I'm not in pain anymore when I talk about it. I can smile, you know?
And that's the beauty of it. That's the moment when you are fully ready to embrace your mission to help others who pass through. Khadija, can you now speak a bit about the stages? Because, well, you have the abuse, let's speak frankly. This is what it is. Then you have the stage where after you have been abused, you become numb, you close yourself, and you enter into a victim mode mixed with anger, sadness. Some will go through depression and even suicide attempt. This is what happened to me. I've done 5 or 6, I don't even remember, in my life.
Yes.
My wish was, I want to die. That's it, leave me alone.
Yes.
Until I fully healed. And can you explain those stages? Because again, everyone is different, and the environment also around you plays a very important role into how you will progress.
Yes. No, absolutely. And like you said, if you in that environment, depending on who is the abuser and you're going through this, and one thing a lot of people have to pay attention is you will have a vibrant, happy child. And then when this happened to them, all of a sudden they become withdrawn. They're not shining their light anymore. And I don't understand why we miss this, because you can see the signs clearly that these people there's something going on, but we don't ask, we just ignore it, or we think, oh, it's nothing. And that child now is hiding the secret. Maybe they've been threatened. If you say anything, terrible things will happen to you, or depending the threat they've been receiving. And also the shock of being violated when you're that young, the confusion, you learning things that you're not supposed to learn at that age. It's so scary. It's like all these mixed emotions of everything thrown at you. And this young mind of yours is just traumatized. Anyhow you look at it. You're wondering, what do I do? And then how do you cope? I don't know how we cope, but I guess because we are a divine being inside that small body, I think that's what's helping us to cope. Because you are still functioning, but it's just your light is not shining like it used to. And sometimes you're abused multiple times, and then it's become norm. And then you pray for the day nobody gonna abuse you. And when you have to face it, you're going through that terror. And when you're not attacked, you hiding like, oh my God, what do I do to protect myself so this doesn't happen? So it's a constant fear, constant pain, and constant challenge you are experiencing. And this is real stuff. And some people will go through this, relive this for years in their own home where they're supposed to be safe and protected. And this will be happening to them by their loving family members who are supposed to protect them and look after them. And some people is the neighbor, some people is a friend of the family, some people is uncles. It could be anybody. But then, depending on your circumstances, because if they're not the family member, but the family doesn't know, they end up, for some reason, always putting you in the same room or the position where this person can abuse you because they don't know. And it's a really scary thing. And then you grow up, you've numbed all that pain, then you have to face another challenges, learning how to fit in. Excuse me. But I do think when we are abused, we never fit in. It's very difficult to fit in. We are shy. We are always in this constant fear, or people are going to find out, or people are going to think we are this, or we are that, or we are nothing. So we are always hiding. It's like we feel like we're criminals. We are never ourselves. I'm sorry to use that word, but we feel like
that's true. I know what you mean exactly.
So you hiding. You can never be yourself around your friends, your colleagues, because you have this secret you hiding, so you can never be yourself. You're always tiptoeing around them, and you can never truly trust or open to anybody. And then when something happens, you get triggered, you act one way, they think, what's wrong with you? Maybe, are you drunk, or what's wrong with you? But don't realize you have all this pain that is triggering you. That's why you act in this way. And then you try to please people, and they're still walking all over you, and you're confused. So as an adult, you're also abused by people around you because you are not voicing your voice. You're not standing in your power. People taking advantage of you, either treating you poorly or ordering you around, or thinking less of yourself, and you wonder, why is all this happening to me? All these stems from when you were little, going through all that pain. This is what had happened to you and you haven't healed it. So of course you are traumatized. The energies around you is just that being vulnerable and anyone can take advantage of you. You don't want it that way. Well, that's the frequency we are in constantly. And that's why it's so we are easy prey. Because, and when you understand energy, where you are is how people see you. But once that shift, then people can't stand that power. They run away. They're like, oh my God, we can't handle this. It's too much. So for me, the advice, if you've been abused, please try seek help. Find somebody you feel you can connect. We are all drawn to that one person that can help us. So trust your own intuition. See who you're drawn to. Be open up. They're not going to judge you, to work with you and help you so you can heal, so you can really live your life and be happy. It's all about being happy. What's the point of being in this difficult earthly plane way to school and having all this pain when you can easily fix it? And you just need to, seek help. Please seek help. It's a sign of strength to ask for help, honestly.
Especially with internet today, it's even easier as before.
Yes.
You don't need always to show your face even. Huh?
Exactly.
Places where you can be totally anonymous, or even you do a session on Zoom, you can, the first session, not show your face. That's fine. It's even easier than before, because before you had to go somewhere.
They have
That's
to
the facilities we have today.
No, that's absolutely wonderful. And just ask for help. Get the help you need. And also, if you've been feeling, we're all intuitive beings, like, oh, I need to change this. I need to change this. No, it's your guides pushing you to do it. Don't keep postponing it until next year. You could have healed a year ago and been doing so much. The energy it takes to be happy and fake your smile and your happiness. It's a lot of energy.
You are exhausted every day.
So exhausted. Every day you have to face the world. Every day you have to put this persona on. Every day it's like a struggle, never ending. But can you imagine if you could utilize that energy and doing what you want and what you love? That is powerful.
That's what we do today, both of us.
And
it's a new life.
Trust me, if you guys listening are calling my goddess sisters, because you are a goddess, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're incredible. No matter what had happened to you, what you have gone through, know that you can still rewrite your story. You can still take your life back in your own hands. You are responsible for your own life. You can rewrite the script whenever you like. You just need to face your fears, and you can do it. Reach out to us, reach out to somebody. Listen, come back and listen to this and see what triggers you, what motivates you, so you can take action and heal. Because when you're happy, oh my God, it's incredible. You are unstoppable, and you are magnetic for other people,
Yeah, right. Correct.
It's really powerful that way. And I'm so grateful that I managed to listen to my guides to do this. Because sometimes I'm like, the false syndrome, I'm not qualified. Oh, I can't do this. I can't help anyone. But the angels are like, you've gone through everything you've gone through to prepare you. So you just need to believe that. But we all do that. Sometimes we do have the ego trying to tell us differently. You just have to remind yourself, like, wait a minute, no, I can do this. I'm ready for this. And I can handle this. And to be honest, as a survivors, the pain you've gone through and the trauma, it's behind you. Now it's just the affirmate of it. You're dealing with the affirmate. But these energies need to be cleared in order for you to be free from this. Otherwise, that person who abused you, they still have a hold on you. They are still controlling your life. Because you're not free. So you need to free yourself, and you can only do that by taking the next step, by closing your eyes and ask for help. Be courageous, and you can do it. And you'll find there's so many of us out there, and we are there. We hold each other. We help each other. And it's sad. It's happening to so many people. I didn't realize until I started this. I was like, wow, this shouldn't be happening.
No,
It's
it should
happening.
not. No.
Happening. And also you'll
Not
find
anymore. Not anymore.
it's also end up being re-abused again in their adult lives,
Yes.
you know? And just to put another one that breaks my heart, this lady, she was married to her husband who she was 14. For her, she was raped from 14 on every day she has sex with this man, she is raped. That is sad. That breaks my heart to hear that. But that's her reality because of her culture, of her way of seeing things. She doesn't have anyone to go, hey, let me remove you out of this and show you the right way to heal and empower yourself. But she's still experiencing that because, oh, I have to just be quiet and just obey. It's sad. It's really sad.
This is unfortunately about educations, and this is why it's important to speak more and more about this. And we will
Yes.
share also your contact channel and everything, because I watch you on Instagram.
Yes.
And first, that's very courageous to do it, to speak about that subject every day, constantly. But
I know they
we
go like, what's happening from angels to this, but no, this subject is so dear to my heart, and I truly, every time I work with somebody, I'm like, thank you, God, thank you, angels. I'm so
you had help one more.
I want to do more because when I see where we start and then us gradually seeing the changes, I'm sorry, that's priceless. And for me, that's where my reward comes from.
Yeah, that's priceless.
Those changes. And if you are listening, I am offering a free beta course, 4-week course, Healing for Goddess Survivors of Sexual Abuse. Reach out, join. It's for free. You have nothing to lose. Come, I'll show you the techniques and help you use the techniques to start your healing so you can move forward and really heal yourself so you can be happy, resilient, because we are very strong. Women are strong in general. We are very strong. We just need to remember and clear all the residues and stand back in our own essence and in our own power.
And I think what you mentioned about women empowerment is very important today, especially in those cases of sexual abuse, molestation, etc. Because the list is quite long. Empowering women, I think, is the first step, because educating men, it's still very difficult because it's like embedded deep into the generation, and it goes very, very far how men are educated. But I had a girl, I didn't have a boy, but I think if I had a boy, I would educate him completely differently than my grandmother educated her boys. But I think for the women today, more we will empower women and more women will speak about this subject, better it will be to
speak
also
about it. Yes.
to end this cycle, to end these patterns that men have. Because when a woman is not educated, I mean, education about this subject in general, don't talk about some culture, you have your period, oh my God, it's a shame, don't say it, please.
Yeah.
No, educate girls.
Talk about it.
Exactly. Then empowering women, and I would like that you talk about this a bit more.
Yes.
How to empower women, because this for me is the key of ending this cycle of abuse, molestation, and everything. Because when a woman is strong and she knows what is the subject, she knows how to react, what to do, when to do, what to say exactly, the man will not touch her.
Absolutely.
Not
And
because she has been educated earlier enough to know how to react in such a situation.
And it's okay to not be threatened. It's okay to not be embarrassed or fear. Tell the truth, and we can stop it. Like educating, like you said, educating our children when they're young. Hey, no matter who it is, if somebody tried to do this to you, you tell immediately. You will not be judged. You have to. So educating our children is fundamental. And I know if somebody listening, if they're survivors, they also get this trigger. I have a son. I used to be, I didn't trust anyone around my son because of what had happened to me. Yeah. Everyone was a suspect. I don't care who you are. And this happened, it's a real thing. My son will not do sleepovers. He will not hang out anywhere by himself. I was always there. Even when he was 16, he's like, why can't you let me do this or do that myself? All my other friends are parents, but I never told him the reason why. I was just this protective mom where I don't think so. It was my handbag. I need to know everything. But I did that because I did not want him to go through what I went through. It's a real fear, and I wanted to make sure he's protected. And I know a lot of survivors, you either go overprotective or you allow the same thing to happen to your children. That's why I'm mentioning this, because it's happening. You either that, you're that. So this is all about educating, healing yourself so you know how to protect your children. And so it will end with you. We don't end up moving this forward anymore, because it's not a good feeling. It can be really detrimental to one's soul until they can heal themselves and understand everything that entail and forgive.
Yeah, otherwise the cycle continues. Yeah. Can you talk about contract? Karmic contract. I know well the subject, but I want you to speak about that, because in case of sexual abuse, mainly, or molestation, often they have a karmic link or specific contract. Here I'm speaking on the spiritual level, of course. Yeah. We don't take the job of the doctor, the psychologist, whatever. We are on the full spiritual and holistic part. But yes, when you look deeper, I've seen many cases. Often when the person is healed, already to look at, because they have a time for everything. When you're in the victim mode, you cannot even comprehend how come it's possible that my abuser was my lover. No, come on. You cannot. No, it's impossible. You are still in a victim mode. But later on, when you have started the healing and you're on the way of being fully healed, I think that's the moment you can explore and really understand. And that's also one of the key to really shine again and go out of your shell. Yes. And heal even faster. Because when you understand the consequence on the karmic level, the karmic contract or family contract, ancestral contract, and so on. Can you talk about that?
It's a very in-depth subject. We have to quickly summarize it. Yes, and I like when you said that, because I do find sometimes our worst enemy on this plane is the one supposed to teach us the most fundamental lessons. I know it's hard to swallow, but it's true. And regarding soul contract, it's very in-depth.
Yes.
Let's say you have to look at it in different angles. So let me put it in this way. So I'm just solely, guys, we're just exploring soul contract. Sometimes, like I said before, you either experience to go through these challenges in order to, it could be you want to understand how it is, heal yourself, because you're supposed to be a teacher. So you can help others to heal. Because if you don't understand how it feels like, you're not going to really help them. You have to be in their shoes in order to be able to be a guide, a coach, whatever it is, and then help these people. So that's one reason you have to go through that experience. And then the other reason could be you are the abuser in another life. And you abused that particular person. And in order to rectify the karmic, your soul, when you're over there, choose, you know what, okay, let it happen to me. This time it's my turn to balance that karma. I know it had to swallow, but when you're on the other side, we see things differently than here. So you volunteer now to be abused by that same individual, so you can then rectify that karmic energy to balance it, because you've done it to them before. Even killing is the same. Whatever you've done to that person, you're like, okay, fine, that was terrible. When I come, I'm going to be the victim this time to balance the energy. So that's one way of soul contract. But there's another element of that where also it could be ancestral passed down energies that has nothing to do with you. But unfortunately, you inherited this, either being the victim or being the abuser. Not because nobody planned to come and be an abuser unless you have soul contract stuff. But then you carrying all these energies, and we are influenced by our ancestral energies. That's why clearing the ancestral line so we can stop repeating the dysfunctionality, passing it on to the new generation is fundamental if we can do it. And you'll find that we choose one that's going to take on the challenge, which can be in depth. But it's understanding which area, if you signed up, and that's why I like going through past life regression, trying to understand who are the players in your family, who are your friends, who are these people you're interacting with, who were there in your past lives. You will find sometimes your child was your husband or your mother or your father, because we're playing roles. Here we play mother, child, but we are not. We are just souls playing parts. And you'll find your enemy will say, okay, maybe even your soul group will say, this time I'm going to come and teach you the hardest lesson, which maybe is to learn to forgive. So I'm going to do terrible things to you just for you to learn to forgive. Because I know it's a simple word, but it's something that you need to experience, and you also have to overcome. So that means you have to learn to forgive in this life, or learn to do other things depending on your assignment. So I know it's hard to swallow, but sometimes you'll find your enemy is your soul group. It can happen in that way. But regarding sexual abuse, it's funny when I actually meditated on this, because I was really like disturbed, especially with the children, that this is happening, to the trafficking and everything else, because I'm like, this is really insane. I can't believe this is happening. Why are you guys allowing this to happen? And apart from just being individually, like I said, soul contract, or it just happened because that person changed the contract in your life, because, it's side and effect. When somebody do something, it changes your situation as well. So that influence your path, even though you didn't arrange to be abused. So that can happen easily. But most of this, what I got a bit about this trafficking and all this stuff, this has been going on for eons. I'm sorry, this is not happening now. It's only now it's coming to light. This has been going on for God knows how long. It's just been kept. Only now it's finally coming to our attention, so we know this is happening. And most of this is allowed to happen because it's part of certain souls. They have to go through this kind of thing, and then the powers to be is very complex. There's no right and wrong when it comes to why souls choose to go through this. There's a bigger picture behind that. These souls who are going through this, they're there to suffer, to help the whole. So they're not doing this just for themselves. They're actually taking this role to help the rest of us, to end up shifting something in us, to start changing things, because we are so being taught to just ignore. It's none of my business. It's just happening to that person. I don't know them. But we are collective beings, It affects all of us. It's like a ripple. And so it's very complex in that sense. But what I could touch on, which is more easier, is the survivors. Find out whether it's soul contract. And even if it's soul contract, it doesn't matter. You can heal yourself and forgive, release that energy, forgive those people, forgive yourself, because you need to. If you don't, you're going to come back with the same players and repeats the same thing. And you don't want that. For me, that's what I find hell, coming back with the same players, repeating the same negative energies.
Oh, yeah. And then it's never.
Yeah, in kindergarten for millenniums instead of evolving to year 1, year 2, year 3. That's why you have to. And sometimes you're crippled with fear because your soul needs to learn to come out of that, because maybe in your past life, you are so crippled with fear, you are not able to overcome it. And this time you have to overcome that. You have to overcome that fear to heal yourself in order to move forward. So that could be that as well. That's your lesson, to learn those things too, because souls learn to experience different things. I know it sounds very simple, but it's a big deal for a soul. Does that make sense?
Make total sense for me. For the audience, depends where you are again
Exactly.
in your own healing journey, because understanding all the past life, the dynamics of past life, karmic relationship, karmic ties, karmic contract, negative contract, and ancestral lineage, you need a certain level of wisdom.
Yes.
And research to be able to understand. Also, it's taking a certain time, and you will move on at your own pace. Let's put it this way. They have a step for
step by step, and take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't resonate with you.
yes.
It's that simple. And if it resonates for you, it hit home, you're ready. I believe that you have to be ready.
Yes.
You have to be ready. And if you're not ready, it will not make sense to you. If you're ready, it will resonate. So we are all in a different phrase, and we're also here to learn in a different way. But one thing also I've learned with the guide, when we medicate, we're not hearing our guidance. So we not even know when we are ready. It's time to change the dynamics and fix things in our life, because we're not listening. And that's why we have to, connect inwards in order to really understand what's happening. Otherwise, we're slowing things down, and that's not a good thing for us. We're not progressing at all. And that also stems with fear, being judged, like you said. It's all wrapped around two things: fear, judgment. We are so craving to be accepted. It's crippling us. We need to stop this acceptance business and learn to focus on accepting yourself. If you accept yourself, others will accept you. But if you reject yourself and you think other people are accepting you, you're doing it all wrong.
It's difficult to accept yourself when you pass through that.
That's why
I hear that very often, and I understand deeply, because myself, for years, from the moment this happened, I had only one idea in my mind: drinking alcohol to forget.
We try to numb the pain.
Yeah, for sure. And dying. That, of course, I'm here today because I had a mission.
But you have to
speaking about me before.
Yeah,
that's not me today. Yeah. But for women, when you say you have to love yourself, you have to forgive yourself, when you are still crippled in this, you
will not understand that concept. And I totally agree. Yeah. And I think the best way, like you were saying, suicidal, I've had suicidal thoughts so many times. Everyone, I think, have gone through one or the other. It's when it's too much, we think about it. It's the easy way out. Thank God we don't go through, most of us. But it's a normal thing we all experience. So if you are in this, you're a survivor, and you know right now you are still in pain, nothing makes sense. How you asking, how do I liberate myself? How do I heal myself? How do I then start respecting myself, forgiving myself? Where you are in the right platform, the first step to do is to seek help. Reach out, because you are not able to do it yourself, and you will sit there rationalizing things until you find 2 months, 3 months gone past, you're still rationalizing or trying to get the courage to ask for help. Just do it. Do it with the fear. Do it. Do it without knowing. Have a leap of faith and just say, you know what? I know I'm afraid, but I need help. Let's just do it. Just reach out. And that reaching out is a big step. And that person then will help you, because what we do, we are mentors. We are, psychiatrists. We are everything. It's all in one package, wrapped in one. So you get everything. It's there for you to experience. And we know how to help you. We know how to hold your hand, nurture you until you can stand in your own power and be yourself and go, wow. And that's the best thing you can do for yourself, is to heal yourself. Your health is fundamental. It's above everything. Yeah. Your mind.
Enter in a space where you know you will not be judged, because you have in front of you a person who knows very well the subject and pass by.
I used to be terrified of. I used to think I was special. I used to think if people know about my dysfunctionality background, it's terrible, until I realized I wasn't special. This is happening to everyone. It's so funny. But that's what I used to think, like, oh no, it only happens to me. No, I wasn't unique. A lot of people are experiencing this everywhere in the world. It's just what it is. Just unfortunately, it's what it is. But we need
to reality.
In a different way. But
this is why we need to speak about this publicly.
About it's a must. And it's funny because you and I know we talk about so many things, and I'm gonna say this, please guys, I'm just saying my own how I feel. I'm being honest. I work with people who have depression, anxiety, trauma. But then I was like, wait a minute, I had enough of this. I want to go for the right, I'm going to call it out as it is. That's it. I'm done sugarcoating it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I'm
makes
done.
sense.
I want to work with this, my sisters, and this is right now. I want to work with them who have gone through this kind of experience. You're a survivor, and I want to work with you. I know I can help you, and that's where I am. You know, we shift in our everything we do. You know, there's always a phrase, a different time for everything. We evolve and we move on. We do different things, and for now, goddesses, hello, check your sister out here. Like I said, just do it with the fear. Honestly, you're not going to wait until that fear goes away before you. Anything you have to do in your life, you cannot wait until the fear is not there before you do it. It's impossible. You have to do it with the fear, whether you're going to university, whether you're having a new job, whether you're starting your exercise regime, whatever it is, you know, it's uncertain until you start. And then you get the result you need. So it's like learning to reprogram your mind or thinking, or if you exercise, every day you exercise, you see the result. It's the same thing. But you need to start somewhere.
I have another question for you. You speak a lot about angel, and I've noticed in your bio, you do also angelic energy healing. What is the link with sexual abuse or survivor of sexual abuse? I'm saying this, I will do the devil advocate somehow now for some of our people in the audience who
Yes.
probably had already this question. What the hell is going on here? They speak about sexual abuse, they speak about recovery, healing, and now she goes to angel. I like also to demystify everything because myself, I know they have a link, but I would like you to explain to our audience what is the link.
Well, angelic energy, well, I do angelic energy healing. And it's funny because I came up with this program. I'm an energy healer. I have a certificate. When COVID hit, I cannot touch anybody. And the angels like, well, you need to now do it through working with us and facilitating, doing the healing through guided meditation and working. So when I, angelic energy healing, I'm not working alone. I invite, depending on that being that is coming in. So I will invite, let's say you need clearing. I'll have Archangel Michael, I'll have Raphael. So depending on the type of angels, I work more with the archangels and I'll invite them to come in and work through me to heal you. So they are literally facilitating, guiding the healing. I'm just, following through the guidance they're giving me to heal you. So that's
How
what
did you start?
it's
When
funny.
did you discover? Let's say like that. When did you discover? Because I know you do mediumship, but again, for the audience to clarify everything, because I'm sure some of you are getting lost already.
Well, for me, my journey, to cut it short, this is the thing. Since I was small, I used to think I was crazy because I see things, I hear beings, but I didn't understand it. I come from a Muslim background where you're not supposed to talk about this stuff. And so I used to I'm not supposed to talk about this. And I see all these things and I'll tell my sisters, they look at me like, what is wrong with her? But there's something always there keep telling me not to tell my parent. And now I know, I look back, I'm glad I didn't. I would have tried to stop my gift or whatever, because you're not supposed to. But I've always connected with spirits. Mediumship came to me very easily. I used to see spirit. I used to see angels. I used to see other things. I just didn't understand what it was. I used to just think maybe I'm crazy. I really did. I thought I was just cuckoo. And it took years. And then I think as I became a teenager, I realized the people I talk to, they're looking at me like I'm drunk or I'm taking drugs. So I'm like, I'm going to stop talking about what I see. I'm just going to keep it to myself. And I did for many, many years until I knew I see it, but I just don't say anything. Only when I separated from my ex and I was going through a lot. It was a lot because, when you just decided, I'm not doing this, I don't understand this. I wasn't doing my assignment. I was just living my life for me and just doing everything else I shouldn't be doing. But I hear this voice clearly, it's time to move on. It's time. Like I'm talking to you now. But I already knew because I just didn't know who was talking to me. So I wasn't scared. But slowly, then they started bringing the right people to me. And I'm like, well, how come I never see this? And the College of Psychic Study was the first place I went to learn how to develop my psychic gift. I used to go past that place. I never saw it. It was
at the time you was not ready.
I was not seeing it. It was there, but I never saw it.
Yeah.
Until it was time for me to see it. I'm like, but I've gone past this place 100 times before. And then the right people keep coming in. Then when I started learning how to understand my gift, angelic stuff is what I did. I could see everything. I just needed to know who were the players and what was what. It was so fascinating for me. So this was...
You just needed the manual. You had already the theory and everything.
No, for me, I just needed to know. And I loved it. And my teacher's like, you see everything. You just needed to know. I'm like, yeah, I just need to understand what the hell is happening to me. But never once in a million years I thought this would be my work. And that's the truth. This was mainly just for me to understand myself. To move forward, and then they said, oh, you have to do healing. I'm like, what is healing? So I have to then train for 2 years. And then mediumship, I didn't have to train. I went into a mediumship class because they keep go there because I can read. When I read, I do both. I do angelic and mediumship at the same time. I can switch. So I'm grateful for that. But if people want just one or the other, I do just angelic. But most people, they want both. And I do work with the gods and the goddesses as well. So like, when you do this, they all come in when you channel messages. So I don't use cards anymore. I used to do it for fun. I just channel my messages and just report what they give me. That's how I work. But it's been really powerful working with the archangels. For me, I love the angelic energy. It's very powerful. And, it's really a wonderful angelic work. It's powerful. I love it. And mediumship, I love it because I find when you bring loved ones to give a message to the living family, especially the relationship was bad before they pass, you can bring closure, and healing is very powerful, and I think you can let them understand, bring peace so they can move forward and forgive if there was, some dysfunctionality happening. If you are ready, you can still heal that relationship while they're in spirit, because they will still be affected even though they move on, because you're hurting. So that's why we need to heal that and forgive so they can move on. But certain spirits, of course, if they, for me, my stepmother used to come in my dreams, and I just made it clear I don't want her to ever visit me again, and that stopped. Because I'm not ready for that spirit, that individual, because of all the pain.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's my right to say no. There are boundaries. You can have boundaries. You can't just say, oh, I just take everything. But now we know, because we are trained, we know when to say, hey, I need a break, or hey, I want this. Whereas before, I'm just seeing everything, what is happening to me? But I love, I do work with the angels, and I use, with my survivors, goddesses, when I'm working with them, I do bring the angelic healing into it. And so I will bring, and usually the angel who wants me to work with them will pop in. I don't, I'll just leave it open. They will come in and then facilitate the healing when I'm doing the guided healing meditation. And I also have Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, they come in as well, because now I'm stepping into this kind of energy. They do come in to help with the healing. So I'm helping, but I'm also working with my team and to help with the healing, of course, with that person's higher self, and guides also involving, because we all have to work as a team to bring the healing. So it's not just me doing it. I have a whole team behind me to help me do this. So yes, so the angelic healing, it's partly part of the healing, and then bringing guides and working with your higher self, because your higher self is involved, and higher self will just say, hey, today I want to just work with this individual myself, and they will bring the healing you need and connect with you. And we do have to go through different areas. So for me, we touch on different areas. That's why I'm guided by how to heal you, because each person is different, and what you need is different from the other person. So how I work with you doesn't mean I'm working the same way with the other person, because I'm working with the beings. They're helping me to bring healing and help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification for the audience. I'm sorry, this one was turning around.
Oh, gorgeous.
I wanted to participate. This is why
It's beautiful.
I lost a bit of attention because he was trying to jump on
He
the
wants
chair.
to join in the conversation. Is it he, right?
I have 3 in the room for the moment.
It's a fascinating subject. They want to join in.
Yeah.
Hello.
One. Okay. Now you are
Oh,
here and everyone can see you. Okay.
hello, gorgeous. How are
Yes.
you?
Okay. Khadija, thank you so much. That was an amazing conversation. Please, can you tell us where can we find you? Instagram, website, Facebook?
Yes, I'm on Instagram, Khadija.Franklin. You can find me there. And then on Facebook is Khadija Franklin. And I do have a website, which is www.khadijafranklin.co.uk. So it's easy to find. And
Link below. Link below.
And the link is below, so everything will be there for you to see. And also for my audience, when I would like to share with them, can you please give us a bit info about your background, what you do to help us as a light, powerful light?
What you said, from A to Z, when we speak about the abuse and everything, but even in terms of mediumship, I was 7 years old. I could see spirit. I started to talk with animals at the same time. And yeah, very similar background. It takes a certain time because you also pass through stages of acknowledging one things after another, including you as a healer.
Yes.
And like you mentioned, you passed through because you had to help others. And I think it's the same for me because since many years, I was attracting clients who have been abused sexually, mentally, physically. I had even women that the husband was having sex with and making a video and posting on porn website. Then I was attracting only that. And I'm like, why am I attracting this?
We haven't healed. So we're in the same energies.
Yeah. And yes, you speak about Khadija, you speak about Sabine. I think you have somehow twins. In terms of experience and healing, because like you explained, you do healing with people with past life. I use transpersonal regression, which we can go through past life if your abuse is linked to past life. When you spoke about mediumship, I do the same.
It's amazing.
Also makes following what is the energy of the person, and I receive guidance constantly. I don't work alone, never, ever, ever. I have always a team like you. Then yes, you have a twin sister here.
I'm so grateful.
On the soul level, because you can see our face, we are not sister, obviously on the earth plane.
But name, hello.
Yeah, something on the soul level, obviously.
Soul sisters.
Yeah, Khadija, thank you so much. Would you like to say a last word for the audience?
First of all, I want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share this. I really want this to reach people who are survivors, because, it's all about passing on the energy and touching just one person. I'm happy. But thank you for giving me this opportunity to share inside of me. I'm so grateful, and I love your work. I'm always watching you. I can't believe I'm here with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you for coming. That's an amazing opportunity, and that's a subject that is very close to my heart. And I think they have no coincidence. It was time to speak about this for your audience, for my audience. I think it's like planting a new seed, and it's accessible to everyone. Then you can have it behind your screen, but we speak about this. Then you can
don't need to show your face.
You learn and you discover.
To show your face. That's the thing. And no, it's very powerful. And guys, watch it. Take what serves you. But honor yourself, honor your feelings. Don't run away from your feelings anymore, because we are guided that way, which is really nice. And yeah, I love it. And I love all the colors of your t-shirt. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Really love it. It's very nice. It's very empowering. So yeah.
Thank you for everything. That conversation was really amazing. And thank you to you guys for watching. Please don't hesitate to comment below the video, share with your friends, because this is very needed. You have to share it the maximum with each and everyone on every platform. It has to be known. You have all the knowledge here in this video. You have the guidance that you need if you are not in position yet to show up. You have everything. Just share, spread it. That's very important.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Khadija, for coming to my podcast.
Blessings to all, and keep being empowered and keep pushing through.
Much love, everyone. Thank you.
Love, love, and thank you, my sister goddess, my sister, soul sister.
Thank you.